There's only 7 people.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to work on.
Okay.
It says you're presenting.
Ooh, that's cool.
Well, I saw that
So-
earlier in the morning.
We're going to work on
Oh.
analyzing structures of stories. Can I get one reader to read today's daily learning target?
Hey, me,
Me. Me.
me.
All right,
Please.
Precious, go.
Yeah.
Come
Analyze how sentences, chapters, or scenes fit into the overall structure of a text.
So what does that mean? So when you're reading a passage, and you'll often see that there's questions asking you, how does sentence or paragraph, blah, 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 contribute to the overall meaning or the theme? So that is what we're going to be looking at today. Chapters. Remember when we talked about in class how you have a book, each chapter, all right, is going to help shape or a series, the structure and how the story will develop, all right? Quick question. Have you ever wondered why, hold on, let me just present. Have you ever wondered how authors plan their stories? How do authors plan their stories? Right? They have to think about the structure, the purpose. I'm writing to tell students or to tell people about, to inform them, to persuade them, to entertain them. Okay, so we got to make sure that we look at the story structure, which includes the plot. So we talked about the plot where we had the setting, the rising action, the climax, then there's going to be a falling action, and then some sort of resolution. All right. So how do the image and the text in the cartoon set up the story's conflict? Here, I see that there are two people walking. We've been walking for hours. I think we're lost. In this cartoon, it says, I think I broke my ankle, he says. She's thinking, it's not safe here. Do I leave him and go for help? Or do I stay with him until we're both found? So what's happening? What is the problem? This is the setting. They're in the woods. I can see that there's trees. There are two people hiking. So there are events that are taking place. The hikers are lost. How do I know that? The details. They're far away from other people. The boy twists his ankle, so the boy can't hike any farther. The girl needs to help the boy. The girl has to decide between two difficult options. So what is the conflict? The girl doesn't know whether to leave the hurt boy alone or to stay with him and risk her own safety until they're found. All right. So you can see that they're in that setting, right? There's a lot of things going on. They're lost. He twists his ankle. Now she has to decide whether or not to go for help or to stay with him. All right? We're going to bypass this video because you can't hear it. Anyone reader to read A Moose Encounter, paragraphs 1, 2, and 3.
Amanda, please.
Amanda. All right, go ahead. Read the first paragraph.
Okay. A Moose Encounter by Lucy Barrett. Yeah. Jill quietly slipped out of the faded orange tint and into the cold fall air of a Minnesota morning. Though the sun had just begun to rise, she could hear woodland creatures scurrying on the ground. Jill glanced back to make sure her father was still asleep inside. He had told her not to wander around alone, and she had to see a moose.
Where is the story taking place? This is the exposition, the setting.
Outside.
Outside where?
Outside in the woods, I think.
So it says Minnesota morning, all right?
Oh,
And
Minnesota.
the sun had just begun to rise. So it's earlier in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And now is it noisy or is very quiet?
Nosy. I mean, noisy. No. I don't know.
So here it says she could hear woodland creatures scurrying on the ground, which means that it's really, really quiet, that she can hear the animals moving around. That's what scurrying means, when they run away quickly, all right? Running around, all right? It says Jill glanced back to make sure her father was still asleep. So she's inside the house and she's watching, or inside wherever they are,
What about Mr. Lucas?
sleeping inside, okay? Next paragraph. Can I have one more reader?
Me.
Who is that? Anthony?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Um, second paragraph?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They had been making this camping trip for 3 years now, and though this was supposed to be moose territory, they had yet actually seen one. Jill was determined to change that. Moving swiftly, she made her way toward the river.
Keep going.
A short time later, Jill saw a brown animal in the distance, and she held her breath as the creature approached. It was the moose calf, grinding broadly,
Grinning.
grinding,
Grinning. Grinning.
grinning broadly. Jill began walking toward it, but before she can get very far, a giant female moose appeared out of nowhere and came charging toward her.
All right. So what is happening that now it's reaching the climax?
The
So
climax.
I know. So the problem is that on the top is, all right. It's reaching it, and now it's going to contribute, and it's going to go towards the climax now, which is the problem.
She frozen.
She So Jill, right, in the distance saw this moose. Now is the moose, so it's charging at her. So now she's in danger now. Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
That is the climax, that this moose is charging her. All right? Can I get another reader to read the next paragraph?
Mm.
All right, I'm going to have to start calling on people.
I can
Me.
have it. I'll read it. Okay.
Let's see who's in here.
Oh. Okay.
Kamaya, can you read for me, please?
Oh,
Kamaya.
Oh.
What was that?
Mercedes, you want to read?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Hold up.
Why is this paragraph necessary to the story?
Mercedes, you there?
Yes.
Okay, you can you read the next two paragraphs, or that little three paragraphs right there for me, please?
It says suddenly.
No, you just look at my screen and you're gonna read those three paragraphs.
All three of them?
Yes, please.
Okay. I can't see what that says though. The first part.
All right, go ahead. Do you see now? Petrified?
Oh, petrified Jill could only stare as the animal that galloped closer and closer. She knew the worst place to be was between a mother animal and her young, especially.
Mm.
an animal as massive as a moose. Suddenly, Jill felt herself being being yanked out of the moose's path, and she held on tightly as her father pulled her behind some trees to hide from the moose's view. They watched they watched as the mother became distracted by her calf, and Jill sighed
Mm-hmm. Side.
in relief. Later, when she had finally returned to the safety of the camps.
Campsite.
Campsite? What?
Later, when she had finally returned to safety of the campsite, Jill was full of apologies. I learned my lesson, she vowed to her father. No more moose encounters for me. Which statement best describes the role the second paragraph plays in the story? This one right here, the second. Suddenly, Jill felt herself. Why is this paragraph necessary to the story? So in the chat box, this is what you're going to do. You're going to input your answer. If you think it's A, you're going to put A. If you think it's B, you're going to put B. If you think it's C, you're going to put C. And if you think it's D, you're going to put D. We're going to share out and you're going to explain why you picked that particular answer.
Okay. Let's see. Is it A or B or C or D? I have no idea yet. Wait. What? Let's see. I have.
Miss Wong, can you put
Yes.
the answers back up? Thank you.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna let listen after use the bathroom. Except for use the bathroom, not the bathroom.
Oops. Sorry, guys.
Is that right now?
Okay, see.
Miss Wong,
Mm-hmm.
can I go eat?
We're almost done. We're just going to finish this question and then you can go eat. Yes.
May I please use the bathroom though?
Yes, go to the bathroom. Yes.
Because Miss Kanala was screaming at me for no reason. I was trying to say, can I please use the bathroom?
Yes, go.
Thank you, Miss Wong.
You're welcome.
No, it's funny. Nobody even put the answer yet.
All right, Omar. Let me know if your classmates has put the answer in there.
It's type D. Everybody type D.
It's D.
All right, let's. Aiden. Can you explain why you
Somebody
chose
D and
D?
C. Why did somebody choose D and C?
Hello.
That's weird.
Aiden, nice and loud. I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you put it? Okay.
Mhm.
Can you put it close up because I can't see it.
Can't see it. All right. I gotta present. Give me 1 second. All right, go ahead.
Okay. It's still blurry.
You gotta wait for it to. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So let me read it again.
So go ahead. Explain your reasoning. You read the question. What did you do? You went back to the second paragraph. You read the second paragraph to yourself? Aiden?
Hard for me to explain.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in, okay? So
Okay.
it says best describes the role the second paragraph plays. So I'm gonna go back and reread paragraph 2. Suddenly, Jill felt herself being yanked out of the moose's path, and she held on tightly as her father pulled her behind some trees to hide from the moose's view. They watched as the mother became distracted by the calf, and Jill sighed in relief. Okay, so I know that Jill was in danger. And why was she in danger? Is because it says that Jill could only stare at the animal, galloped closer and closer. So she was petrified, she was scared, it was approaching her, all right? And when a, a, a young is being threatened, the mother is going to try to save or to try to retaliate, which is attack back. Okay, so just at this time, the dad or the father came to intervene. Does anybody know what intervene means?
No.
Intervenes means to interrupt or interject. All right, so he went and he saw that Jill was in danger, and she yanked her back so behind the trees so that the moose wouldn't see her.
Jill.
So it is D because it explains how Jill's father saves her and sets her up for the resolution so that she was safe and she wouldn't be attacked. And they went back to camp, and Jill explained, with full apologies, I have learned my lesson, and there will be no more moose encounters for her. Okay?
Okay.
So now you're going to go onto Google Classroom, and during your work time, if you have not already completed your entry test, you're going to do that before you do your independent work time. You're going to read the article from Hatchet and answer 3 multiple choice questions, and you're going to answer your short response using rate. You can record all of your responses in Google Forms. Where are you going to record your responses?
In Google Forms.
Excellent, Omar. That is where you're going to record your responses. When you are done, you will hit submit, and it will give you a grade right on the spot. Are there any questions?
No.
All right, so that is the end of our session for today.